main event time, we have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers once and always. And as you see right up top, I didn't use a shot from the episode or anything. I used the cast photo because if you just look at this amazing team that they set up here, you know, people are like upset because they didn't have like Amy Jo or stuff like that. Like, just look at who they were able to get back. These are people that we have not seen since the beginning. We got Billy, we got Zach. Honestly, pretty amazing that we're finally seeing them back here.
Yeah.
I know. Walter Jones, who's the actor who plays Zach, has come back and done some voice acting stuff for Power Rangers. As far as like, I think he's voiced a few of the monsters, but he's never officially made an on-screen reappearance with the franchise, and that's a really big deal. And same thing with David Yost. I know he went through his trials through the whole Zeo season. I'm sure probably through Mighty Morphin, being a gay actor, he got like hazed very, very poorly. And for them to finally make amends and bring him back onto the franchise, I think it was a big deal. He was definitely obviously Tommy was everyone's favorite, but as far as like original team, Billy,
he stuck around the longest out of all.
Billy was the best. He was the tech guy, and then in Zeo, he was the mentor. Like, that's how good of a ranger that he was. That he didn't need to be a ranger in Zeo. He was the mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was really happy that they finally got to see kind of a somewhat of a wrapping up to what happened to him instead of him having a space girlfriend. I think that was probably one of the poorest write-offs, but they also didn't have him on set anymore. So I think they kind of did what they could, but also tried to do it in the most disrespectful way possible. So all the negative stuff out of the way now.
This was a really great episode.
Amazing.
Really positive.
I don't know if they could have done a better job. I really
don't think so.
Given who they had for cast and their limitations, this was probably the best that they could have possibly done.
Yeah.
Starts off with a fight. You have the whole original 6 there. They're fighting Robot Rita and a bunch of putties. And Rita decides that she's going to trade off some of her magic for a spell that kills because she's just got to get rid of these Rangers. So she goes to hit Billy, and Trini jumps in the way, takes the blast for him, and just gets disintegrated. And it's kind of like one of the more like serious moments I think I've ever seen in a Power Rangers series.
Yeah.
Where like a Ranger actually died, and instead of it being like, okay, we're going to be heroes and fight and destroy, overcome this, it's no. Everything stops.
Yeah.
They become humans again, and it becomes a human story for probably like the first 20 minutes of this show.
Yeah.
And, they have to go back. It's Zach and Billy, they're at Trini's house, and they have to tell, her daughter what happened.
Yeah. And they're kind of arguing in the house. So Zach's like, I don't think we got to tell her the complete truth. We shouldn't tell her. And he's like, Billy's like, this is different. Like, this is like her mom. And they're like, she deserves the right to know what happened. And they're going back and forth. And Billy goes, she needs to know that Rita killed her mom. And then it walks in with her hearing that. And then it kind of cuts to a year later, back at the house again. We see Zach is living with her now. And she's training. She's running through the garden, doing crane kicks and everything.
Yeah, and he's kind of become her guardian.
Yes. And what's interesting is, like, we get a little backstory of where everyone's at in this. So Billy owns like a tech company, appropriately.
Yeah.
And Zach was apparently a congressman, but he stepped down to kind of become her guardian.
Which honestly works great for the character, because that was the whole reason why he left the team to begin with, was to go on this like foreign delegate. He wanted to become a delegate to kind of like diplomatically solve Earth's issues. He didn't want to have to fight anymore. He wanted, he wanted to solve real big issues and have a bigger change on the Earth besides just being a ranger. So for that to be what he's been doing is, really good, testament to, kind of keeping with what he's been doing. They could have just as easily just been like, oh yeah, he's just been a ranger.
Yeah, he's just been cruising around, yeah.
It kind of explains why we've always had Adam come back as the Black Ranger.
Yeah, because he was still his congressman.
Yeah. And now we don't have Zach as the we don't have Adam as the Black Ranger in this series because, as we'll learn later on, he's busy forming what will soon be SPD, but is now SPA. So Space Patrol Alpha.
Yeah. And, so they're with Min, which is Trinity's daughter. It's a year later to the day Trinity died. And Zach's like, listen, we got to get going. We don't want to be late. Everyone else is waiting for us. So he's kind of walking up the hill, having a little talk, reminiscing with Min about her mom. And then all of a sudden we hear Robo, Rita, and then we hear Tommy's, Kimberly's, and Jason's voice morphing. And I believe Billy was there too at the time.
Yeah, because they were hiding behind his car.
Yes. So they're fighting Robo Rita. This time she's got Snizzard and Minotaur with her.
Yes.
And they're fighting, and Snizzard keeps, every time they try to fight him, he's got those claw fang hands, and it's injecting him with venom, freezing him, and then covers them in snakes, and then they get shrunken down. And Rita just keeps picking them off one by one. And Billy's the only one standing. Zach and Min are kind of watching. And Billy kind of retreats to his car, and they take off, and the car flies away. The car could fly.
Well, it's the same flying car from I think it's like the second or third episode. They had to get to the transporter wasn't working, and they had to get back to the command center, so Billy just makes a flying car.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't remember that. That's crazy.
So this is the same. It says 2 on it, so I guess he remade the car.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that was a really good callback. I felt like I was like, that's a deep cut. I'm like, it's something that only appeared in like one episode for like a couple minutes.
I didn't even realize that. Yeah, I'm glad you remember that one.
Oh yeah, no, I was like, oh my god, they got the flying car. The second I saw the car, I was like, oh man, it's the flying car. But so they get back, and they're like, oh my god, what's going on? Robo Rita's like taking over everything now. Like, we lost
another 3 Rangers.
Yeah, another 3 Rangers, which was a really good way to write off the people who weren't in it. Again, no Austin St. John. I don't know, we didn't get an official word as to if he wasn't available, if he declined, if some of the comments that he's made in the past, or if his current legal issues got in the way of him doing this. Not quite sure.
Yeah.
But Amy Jo just said she didn't want to do it. JDF, well, he never commented, but Amy said that JDF declined. We don't know exactly what the story was, and we probably never will.
No.
But we honestly, the story was about Zach, Billy, and Trini. Well,
yeah, it really was kind of good that they weren't in there to see us
had
about
so many returns.
Yes,
we don't need.
It really gave him the time. It really gave him the time to focus on Zach, Trini, and Billy.
Yeah,
and it was really important.
Yeah. So we're back at Cranston Tech, which is the old command center. So Cranston Tech is on the upper floors, and in the basement is a modernized version of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers command center. So, which is kind of funny because in it's not Zeo. I think it is. No, it is Zeo.
Is it in space? Oh no, it was
Zeo. They're in the basement of the command center.
Yeah.
And then I think in Turbo they go even further into the basement to do a different command center, but it's in the basement, but it's still the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers command center, but updated to look a little bit newer. And we have Alpha 9 there.
9.
So, we have the same conversation. It's Zach, Minnie, and Billy. And she's just kind of like, well, this is all your fault, Billy. Like, you're the reason why my mom's not here, and you're the reason why these Rangers were taken away.
Yeah.
Which I was like, damn.
Yeah. And then we get a flashback that kind of explains what happened. So it turns out when Robo Rita came back the previous year, we see how she came back. Billy was trying to find Zordon, and in doing so, he ended up pulling out Rita instead, and her energy fused with Alpha 8 at the time.
Yeah.
And that's how we got
Robo
Rita instead of regular Rita. She went with the robot host instead.
Which, again, really good writing, because I know people were online, they were complaining, like, well, Zordon purified Rita. She's good. We saw her in Mystic Force. I don't understand how she turned evil again and why she's a robot. It's like, okay, well, Zordon wiped out the negative energy, and it's the negative energy that came back and manifested on Alpha. So they just like perfectly explain all the plot holes as to how this is even possible. It's like
they really did an excellent job with this.
They did a great job.
And it was such a fun watch too.
Yeah, and I think it was the perfect length. 1 hour. It didn't need to be any longer.
No, it didn't feel too long. It didn't feel too short.
Yeah. So, Billy and Zach kind of have a heart-to-heart, and it's kind of at the end of the day, they're like, hey, we need to get other Rangers here. So, while Billy's working on that, Zach kind of ends up having a heart-to-heart with Mina, because he was like, yo, you're okay there?
Yeah.
I kind of just went a little hard on Billy there.
You kind of blamed a lot of deaths and poured a lot of blood on Billy.
Yeah, and, he kind of explains that whole flashback, and it's like, hey, he's trying to bring Zordon back. He was basically like our father figure, and he didn't intentionally mean for any of this to happen.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I should be a Ranger, and he's like, you're not ready to be a Ranger because you want to do this for revenge, and that's not what Rangers do. That's what Rita does.
Yeah.
So he's like, you just go to school, you do your thing. We'll take care of this. This is Ranger business. He's trying to be a good dad. Really cool, because they just explain a bunch of plot holes, and they get back Rocky. They get back Kat.
Well, before that happens, Rita's like, all right, I need more. She's got this device that she's shrunk the Rangers down, and their energy's powering it. She's like, I need more Rangers now. She's like, I gotta lure more out to fight them. So she just unleashes a massive army of putties
worldwide
across the globe.
Yeah,
they're attacking every continent, every country. So Alpha initiates this emergency protocol to summon Rangers to the base, and then we get Rocky and Kat.
So that's they were the second Red and Pink Rangers. Honestly, Rocky and Kat are great. I know people want the original ones, but I mean,
Rocky's a firefighter now.
Yeah.
Kat is Tommy's wife and mother of his child, JJ.
JJ, yeah. So we don't.
JJ is teased.
Yeah, we don't get to see.
He was at a karate tournament. Though.
Yeah, we didn't get to see him. We got to see him in the. Oh my god, I'm blanking on which was that Ninja Steel. We got to see him in the Ninja Steel very, very briefly, and obviously we saw him in, I think it was the Zeo Christmas special, where he was a Red Ranger of a team. But they've kind of retconned that now for him to be, if you follow the comic book, he's like the green SPD Ranger, but he has the Dragon Shield. But yeah, they've kind of like really. I think they're going to do something because they keep teasing JJ. So I think eventually we're going to get something with him. I don't know if it's going to be in 5 years or something, but I think we're going to get JJ as a Ranger.
All right.
I just don't know when.
Or who.
or who it's going to be. But they end up splitting up, and it kind of doesn't go super great at the beginning.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I think they didn't split up they didn't split up right away though.
No, they were on the ropes because remember they went there and they were like, "Oh my God, this is a Minotaur. Keep tracking us down. We can't do
Oh yeah,
anything."
so yeah, they go out to fight the Minotaur. Yeah, they go out. They fight a bunch of putties at the first spot, and Snizzard and Minotaur have a way to track them when they're morphed. So they teleport like 2 times, and then they demorph, and they're like, "Oh, we got to figure out a way to get around this." Um,
So they make a plan to lure them to the dump,
since
and
they're both covered in
yeah,
metal.
they're both covered in metal, and they're going to use a magnet to attract them and capture them. During this time, we get another cut back to Rita, and we see that she has a lot more Rangers now.
Yeah, and this was really cool. This cut because she's got like two like when she was at the cemetery, she just had like a rack with like the three of them on the top shelf, but she's got like that shelf's filled out, and now she's got a second shelf going.
Yeah, she has. I think she has.
She had a ton.
She had,
Beast Morpher, In Space, Lost Galaxy, Zeo. She had the Phantom Ranger even.
yeah. Because I was like,
Dino
it was like, is that
Thunder.
the Phantom Ranger? She has Dino Thunder. She had the Dino Thunder. I think red, white, and blue.
Look at this guy. I'll focus up.
Yeah, it's not focusing. The
Oh,
Phantom Ranger, which would have been a cool reveal for it to be Billy, but it never was revealed who the Phantom Ranger was.
yeah. I was like, who is that? And I'm like, oh,
because I saw it, I was like, is that the I'm like, did they really do a deep cut on the Phantom Ranger?
yeah.
I'm surprised we didn't get like Blue Centurion or something.
Yeah, they had like a lot of teams.
Yeah, a lot. I was really surprised. And like Beast Morpher, they had red, blue, and gold.
They had like practically like the whole
They
team.
had Lost
yeah.
Galaxy Red, which I thought that was a pretty funny. No, it's not Dark Out. No, they had oh my god, I'm blanking on the team. Wild, the guy that killed the guy with the sword. That Ranger was on the rack. I was like, oh my god. I was like, I guess they really don't want us any chance of ever seeing that guy. They're like,
But they did free him.
they did free him.
Oh, spoiler.
Really cool cut. Mina steals steals her mother's morpher, and she's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna keep, using this." So she goes to Ernie's juice bar, and putties show up there. She goes to morph, and it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
So what ends up happening is Rocky and Zach go there. They morph. Big throwback to Ernie's juice bar, which is, I was really happy to see that set, that they were able to recreate that set. They did a really good job, because I doubt that that's just something that they had laying around.
No.
So they had to rebuild that whole thing, and it was pretty good as far as a recreation of that set. Cuts over back to the dump. We have Billy, Rocky, and Kat there, I believe, right? Billy, Rocky, Kat, yeah. They morph, they lure Snizzard and Minotaur over.
Zach stays with Min back at the base.
Yes. They capture them. Min's like watching this, and she's like, we gotta go there, we gotta destroy them. Why are they leaving them there? And Zach's again explaining, like, hey, we've neutralized the threat. We don't need to destroy people or kill them. Like, again, that's something that Rita does.
Yeah.
And she ends up running off again.
Well, and then they also get a call with the SPA crew, and they're like, "Oh, we got the signal. We're trying to come back to Earth. Your cloaking technology, Billy, has really helped us a lot." And so Billy segues to Billy handing out all the Rangers the cloaking technology, except for Min, of course.
Yeah.
So they're like, "All right. We have Minotaur and Snizzard here. We're going to bring the fight to Rita because they picked up the signal of her moon base. So they're like, we'll sneak in there, take him out." So they leave, and Min steals one of the cloaking devices from Alpha, and she sneaks out, steals Billy's car, and she's like, I'm gonna go to the scrapyard and finish this job. So she drives to the scrapyard to, I don't know what her plan was, to drop the magnet and crush the
And
two of
there's a
them
really
or
funny
what.
scene where she's just like plowing
Yes.
down putties.
Yes, there is a scene on her way to the scrapyard. There's like a guy's like, "Oh, my boyfriend's in danger." She's like, "Well, I guess it's time for me to practice." So she just mows him down with the car,
And like
then just
zero
takes
regard
off
for the
and
two
the
guys. Zero
Yeah,
regard for them.
she's like, "Peace, I helped you."
And I'm like, I'm sure probably the guy's like, she almost ran me over. Like, I'm sure.
Well, they were like, "Thank you." They were like so happy that she saved them, but yeah, she kind of just flew away.
Yeah.
She gets there, but then Robo Rita's there waiting for her, and how did they end up getting out of that situation?
Oh, she kidnaps.
Oh, she kidnaps her. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the other Rangers are at the base, and she brings her to the base with them. They start taking out the putties and try to destroy the device, and we learn that this device, when Rita shows up, she kind of explains the whole thing. What she's trying to do is open a portal so she could communicate with herself 30 years earlier and give her past self 30 years of knowledge
Yeah.
on the Rangers and how to defeat them.
Yeah. Just so she can kill the Rangers before they become Rangers.
Yes, she's going to say who they are and everything. So they all begin fighting in the base. They're taking out putties, Snizzard. What else? What happened next? I forgot how the rest of this played out.
So
here.
the way the rest of this plays out is,
well, I don't want to jump too far ahead here. I don't want to miss anything.
well, they fight, and they basically what ends up happening is they're fighting Rita, and she goes to do the killing curse again, aims it at Billy, and Mina jumps in the way. And she gets knocked back. She doesn't get disintegrated. So that's kind of like the rally cry. They kind of fight back. They eliminate a lot of the putties, but they still haven't gotten Rita and everything yet.
And it turns out
that
the blast hit Min in her jacket where the yellow morpher was.
Yeah.
And then as they're trying to help her up, we see like a whole kind of Trini montage, like a tribute.
Mm-hmm.
And she sees all her memories. She's like, "Oh, I saw all my mom's memories or whatever." And they're like, "Oh, you know what this means?" And then she gets up, and like her body's like getting covered in like yellow like energy.
Yeah.
And she morphs, so they begin fighting back.
There's a really cool moment because they had her lead the morph.
Yeah, they had her lead the morph, and we get a classic Rangers morph sequence where the headshots with the morphers.
Yeah.
So it's not looking good for Rita, so she throws Snizzard out the window, and Snizzard's like, "Why? What did I do?" But then she makes him larger. Minotaur's still there, so Billy takes Min with her to fight Minotaur with the Megazord, while Zach, Cat, and Rocky stay back to fight Minotaur and Rita.
Yeah.
They quickly defeat Minotaur and the putties very quickly, I felt like.
Yeah. One of the cool things that we got a like CG recreation of the like summoning of the Zords.
Yes.
And that was really good, high quality, like pretty good, decent high quality to me. What wasn't high quality was the Zord on the moon. I felt like that was a callback to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie.
It totally, yes. That's instantly what I thought. The fight scene felt like it was absolutely better than the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie CG, but it still wasn't.
It wasn't as good as the CG that they used to recreate the Zords come, you know.
Yeah.
So it made me really think it was on purpose.
Yeah. Like it was a little odd. Like I felt like it would have it's a super simple set.
Yeah.
Like a moon set, right?
Yeah.
How hard would it have been to get the Megazord suit back, to have a man in a suit?
Oh,
they
no,
already
not
had
at all. I'm sure there's a cosplayer that has one.
And they already have the Snizzard suit.
Yeah.
Like I get for some of the special effects parts, but like I know all the Ranger shows, even the Super Sentais, a lot of the Zord fights they've
CG
been
now.
CG animated for a while.
This new season, man, those Zord fights are amazing.
Yeah, but I really felt like a man in a suit would have been perfect for this.
Yeah, it would have been cool. I don't know if they wanted to like get rid of like the hokey factor of it. You know, some people still have a negative connotation with, oh, it's a guy in a suit.
Yeah.
So I think that's what they're kind of trying to. Oh my god.
But I still think it would have been cool, but I didn't mind it. It wasn't horrible. I still enjoyed it. I mean, they finished off Scissored extremely quick with the the Megazord fights. I mean, even nowadays the Megazord fights, I guess because it's CG, are super super fast. Like it was like pretty much a quick slice down the middle, and Snizzard was down. Minotaur was defeated. Rita was quickly defeated, and it was a very quick wrap up there at the end of the final battle between everyone.
One of the things that I thought was pretty cool was like they destroyed Rita. It was almost like she just got like stabbed in the back.
Yes, yeah, and then just like shanked her in the back.
Yeah, but you know, it kind of leads off. They're like, oh, okay, we're gonna bring these shrunken rangers down to Aquitar to restore their size. So it kind of gets around the whole like, okay, well, the story's over. Why aren't we seeing
Other people.
them back?
Yeah.
It's because they still have to get brought back to size. And kind of left the series like really open.
And we get a little like tribute to Tui and Tui Train and JDF at the end with a little flashback of Kim singing, and it showed the whole crew and everything as well.
Yeah, it was a good tribute. It was definitely well done. It's like one of those things. Just like, what do you do? Obviously this was like a big Twee tribute episode.
Yes.
They brought a new Yellow Ranger in. I'm pretty sure she's going to be in Cosmic Fury. I feel like they were heavily implying that she was going to be in Cosmic Fury and that they were going to do more of these specials.
Yeah, I mean, Billy said he's still going to work on bringing back Zordon, so that absolutely leaves it open.
Yeah.
I mean, we know Zed is going to be in Cosmic Fury as, I'm not sure if he's the main villain, but we know he's going to be in it.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming the Mighty Morphin team might lend a hand. We might see some more cameos.
Yeah.
We might see Min show up. And then Billy was kind of explaining the whole, what was he doing with the power coins? I didn't.
So he's able to recreate powers now.
Yes.
So basically he was implying that like everybody can be, basically he was implying previously Rangers were passing off the power coins.
Yes.
And now multiple Rangers can be active Rangers at the same time. One thing that we didn't mention in the review is Aisha and Adam come back at the end. They don't do anything. They're just, hey, we're forming SPA. So,
and then they kind of pick up the Rangers like, oh, we'll take them back to Aquitar.
Which I'm sure SPA is probably going to be playing a huge role in Cosmic Fury. Which I think that's kind of what they were trying to set up.
Yeah.
I was surprised we didn't see anyone from Cosmic Fury in this, but, do you want to really start getting into that? Just leave it for the people who are following the show.
Yeah. Yeah, this was really for everybody that watched it way back in the day in the 90s. Like, you could...
It was definitely for lapsed fans.
Yeah. You could watch this if you didn't watch anything in between.
Yeah,
I mean, I've absolutely missed some seasons in between. I didn't keep up with it. I don't know exactly where I stopped. I've seen most of Dino Charge, some of Ninja Steel. There's definitely a bunch that I have not seen.
Yeah. It would be nice to see another episode. I'd love for them to bring back Zordon.
Yes.
Even if he was just like as like a narrator character, or just like a, you know what I mean? Like, like on the last episode of, or just it's a cool voice.
Yeah.
Or like one of the almost like like the end of like the Dragon Ball Z episodes where they have like the guy saying like the moral of the story or something.
So one of my Zordon theories that I got from this, not from comics or anything, was like, because, like you said, Billy was at one point the mentor, is that maybe Billy will eventually become Zordon? Because he's trying to bring him back. What if Zordon's energy fuses with him?
I mean, it's possible.
Like, it's a little crazy, but I feel like if Rita did it with Alpha, why can't Zordon do it with him?
Yeah, I mean, we know.
Like, maybe he'd just get his knowledge or something like that.
I mean, you know that Billy's made the Master Morpher.
Yeah.
So he's already has a really good knowledge of how these powers work. And as we know from Zeo, like he made... no, not Zeo. No, it was Zeo. I think he made most of the Zords then. And like scrap Zord parts.
Yeah.
So, like obviously he has an idea of how this, like everything works. I think he's the ultimate mentor. I think he's the best Power Rangers character, the most well-rounded. I think it's really valuable that they have him on good terms with the franchise now. I think he's a really good role model.
Yeah. Definitely would like to see him back again.
Yeah. I think he's going to be, I think it's like confirmed he's in.
Yeah.
Him and Adam, at least, I think are confirmed to be in Cosmic Fury.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
That's in August, I believe.
Yeah, it's going to be a good, is it perfect? No, but I definitely think they're on the right track with Power Rangers.
Yeah, no, Netflix is doing something right for once.
Yeah. The whole JDS situation, it's so hard. Like, what do you do? I think this is the best tribute that they could have done without touching the character. Because, like, I kind of like in canon, he's got to be around for at least another 10 years, at least another 10, 20 years. So it's really hard to even touch him.
They really weren't, like they just, this was mainly to be focused on Trini. Like, this was already in the works. Like, his whole thing happened, like, it was done.
Sure, I'm assuming filming was wrapped.
Way wrapped, yeah.
By the time this happened.
I'm sure there will be another tribute. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I've seen people saying like, "Oh, like they should do this for every season."
That's how I feel too. Like from here on out, do a 30-year. I mean,
this is the one Zeo, and then it's like, how do you get around there being no Red Zeo Ranger?
Yeah.
One of the things that
they're gonna have to unfortunately write him out. It's gonna JJ is gonna be a big part of this. I feel like I don't know. Maybe with this whole Aquatar thing with the resizing, maybe that's how they're gonna write him out. Maybe something's gonna go wrong with that. So
we do have.
They might need to retcon. I know he's supposed to be around longer, but
the one thing that they do have from the Soul of the Dragon comic book is we know he gets injured as the Green Ranger, and because of that, he can only morph one more time as each Ranger in the descending sequence. So he has to do Dino Thunder, Turbo, Zeo, White, and Green. So they could say like, "Oh, Tommy got injured" or something.
Yeah, maybe they could do that. Maybe they'll do like an opening montage of like they did the opening of this. Everyone in suits. Maybe they'll just do an opening montage of him winning these big epic battles in those suits, and then they'll cut down to the Green doing the final battle in that opening scene, and then the torch gets passed. You don't see helmets come off or anything, but you see the torch somehow get passed.
Yeah. I mean, I would love them to do a Zeo, because that is my favorite season. It's the best series.
Oh, yeah. No, it's definitely...
It's characters that you've been following for this whole time, and you get their conclusions.
Yeah.
Turbo, I feel like, was definitely a season where it was like they stuck around a little bit too long.
I know. You said you struggled through Turbo when you were doing your
I
rewatch.
really did. And then even, I don't want to start getting negative about Turbo, but like Zeo is the best season. I have
I
to
know,
watch In Space still.
It's often well regarded, Zeo, yes.
Because I hear people say In Space is great, Time Force is great, RPM's great. So, but yeah, that's kind of it. Excited to see what's going on with the series, and
I really hope to see another one of these. I really do. This was really good. I really enjoyed it.
No, they did a fantastic job, and I think anybody who complains or says otherwise is honestly being incredibly unrealistic.
Yeah, I mean, I know Netflix has I know when they first announced this whole thing that they said, "Oh, we're going to do animated shows, movies." Supposedly, the movie thing is still in the work. Supposedly, they might even have like a live action show in the work that's going to be like more
Adult,
similar to the movies, like the movie that came out a couple of years ago. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I guess we will have to, but thank you guys for watching. I'm assuming next episode we're probably going to be covering Ultraman, if I had to guess.
Ultraman?
Final season.
Oh yeah, final season. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and we have Fall of Man we're going to be covering, and we'll see what news is going on, because it is going to be All Monsters Attack. It's going on probably as soon as this episode goes live, so we don't know what announcements are going to happen over this weekend.
Maybe there'll be some cool news there. Maybe it'll just be a cool con.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe it'll just be a cool con, but I don't know.
You never know.
Keep your eye open for Gorgo news.
Yes, of course.
At least like 100% confirmed we're going to see the figure.
Yes, definitely figures coming out. It's going to be close. I don't know if they're going to get the glowing eyes, but they got all the accessories besides.
Honestly, I was surprised that Big Ben wasn't the final tier.
Yeah,
that was the big one for me.
And they did a survey on the glowing eyes that they were like, "Oh, do you prefer light up or do you want actual like glow in the dark?"
Glow in the dark.
Yeah, I think so too. Less electronics.
Yeah, I don't want electronics in it. Just give me chemical glow in the dark.
Chemical paint.
All right.
But thanks for watching, guys.
See ya. Bye.